All signs are pointing to this. The Toronto Blue Jays are making a ton of moves in their coaching staff, and one person is making those decisions, and it's Ross Atkins. So if you were hoping that he was going to be gone, I don't think that's going to happen because he is the one making these roster changes. He is the one putting people into places in the coaching staff. So to me, that points to the sign that he is here to stay. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. Welcome in, everybody, to Jays Digest. Postseason baseball starts today officially, and the Toronto Blue Jays are not going to be part of it. Right now, actually, starting right now, you'll have the Houston Astros and the Detroit Tigers. Tarek Skubal on the mound against Framber Valdez and the Tigers. What a story that is, right? A team that was not supposed to be where they were, squeaking into the playoffs and playing great baseball, not even exceeding expectations. What a world, right? Could you imagine the Blue Jays exceeding expectations? I can't, because they've criminally underachieved in the past few years, and the guy at the helm has been Ross Atkins, and he is here to stay, Nick. So the Tigers, a team with no expectation, a team that sold at the deadline, that was going in the wrong direction, did a full 180, and now they're playing playoff baseball while the Blue Jays sit on their couch and book in their next golf appointments in Cancun or wherever they're going to go. And the expectation in Toronto was a little bit higher than that of Detroit's.
Yeah, and Shai came out today, and like you mentioned, you're hoping that Ross Atkins is going to be gone. Unfortunately, according to Shai, it looks like he's going to stay. So I'm going to break all that down. Quick reminder to hit the subscribe button, though, if you're excited for playoff baseball without having to worry about the stress of the Blue Jays. Let's take the positive approach here. But tons of moves have been going down. We're going to get into all those. Guillermo Martinez as well, like I covered in yesterday's video. Peter, I'll get your thoughts on that. But about an hour ago, Shai came out, and he said all signs point to them being back, talking about Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins. Now, again, a ton of moves have been going down, Peter. We know like Guillermo Martinez, they parted ways with him. Don Mattingly is still a part of the team as of now. They also made some other changes, which we'll get into in a second. They made those very recently this morning. But I want to get your thoughts on this first. So, Shadavidi saying that Ross is going to be, in all likelihood, and all signs point to him returning. And they also let go of Guillermo Martinez. But as of now, Don Mattingly is still a part of the team.
Yeah, and Don Mattingly needs to go. And I'll use an analogy here. It's kind of like when you're in the best shape of your life, you feel good, you look good, but your hair is like not looking good right now. You don't have a nice clean haircut. Don Mattingly is like you being held back by having a horrible haircut or something like that. He's just holding the Blue Jays back right now, and I feel like it's a very simple fix. Get rid of him, get rid of those philosophies that he is bringing to the table, because ever since he has joined the team, they've been one of the worst offenses in baseball. And what does he do after his first season in charge? He gets a raise. He gets a promotion to the offensive coordinator position, which I didn't even know existed before Don Mattingly got that title. And the Blue Jays got even worse offensively. I didn't know it was possible watching them in 2023, but they were somehow worse this season in 2024. And I think the direct correlation for that is Don Mattingly. So if you're the Blue Jays, go to the barber shop, get yourself a nice fade, get yourself a nice haircut, get rid of that issue that Don Mattingly is posing to this franchise, because ever since he's come in, only but bad things that have I seen. He's supposed to be in charge of base running and strategy and defensive strategy. I've seen nothing but horrible things when he has been involved, getting picked off on the base pass, having uncompetitive at bats, trying to turn power hitters into slap hitters. It just I'm done with Don Mattingly, and I think he's going to be back, unfortunately, which is horrible because I believe he's a huge part of the problem. I really do. And they need to move in a different direction because John Schneider looked a lot better as a manager before Mattingly stepped in. But that's just me. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I feel like John Schneider gets a lot of the heat that Don Mattingly is bringing onto this team.
Yeah, and you look at it here. They obviously let go of Guillermo, who was a part of the great offense in 2021. But Don Mattingly came on in 2022, and since then it's been it's been downhill not only for the offense but for the team. But they made some changes today, and the Toronto Blue Jays field coordinator Gil Kim and assistant pitching coach Jeff Ware won't return to the major league staff next year. So they're trying to really change up things in the whether it's the several different coaches, Guillermo Martinez, in this case, Gil Kim and Jeff Ware. Now, I don't think these guys are going to have a huge impact on the team, but they are at least making moves, and they're working on potential reassignments for Kim and Ware, which is good. You still want to obviously have them having jobs within the organization to some degree, and so they can sustain everything they got going on. But they're doing a bunch of different things here, and Peter, they're changing a lot of things, but I feel like they're not addressing some of the biggest issues, which whether you think it's Don Mattingly or not is up to you. But I mean, they need to actually sign some guys. I can't do that yet, of course. The playoffs are still on the go, but I'm hoping these aren't the changes they hope are going to fix the Toronto Blue Jays magically by, firing, I guess, reassigning Gil Kim and their assistant pitching coach, Jeff Ware. And we saw a good bit of Jeff Ware last year. They talk about him a lot in the broadcast and things like that, so that's a bit of an interesting one. But, I mean, they're making more moves. I hope they're not just making these for the sake of making them. I am happy, though, that they let go of Guillermo Martinez. It was definitely needed.
Yeah, it was needed, but again, how much impact did Guillermo Martinez really have on the hitting strategy when you have so many voices involved? Like, I think a change was needed because Martinez has been around with the organization for a long time, but you're bringing in guys like Edwin Encarnacion, Victor Martinez, Don Mattingly, and I'm going to be the first one to say I was wrong. I was wrong about Don Mattingly because I thought it was a great hire right off the bat, but you look at his managerial record with the Dodgers, which was good, but he had such a great roster and he never managed to win a World Series with them. Then you shift over to his time with the Marlins. They were the worst team in baseball when he was there. So the fact that the Blue Jays hired him solely based off his name and his pedigree as a player, not what he's done as a coach, I think that's a warning sign in itself. And now you're giving him bigger roles and more advanced tasks. Like now you're firing all these guys. I don't think they're going to hire other people. I don't think they're going to hire special coordinators. They're just going to give more responsibility to Don Mattingly and to John Schneider and to Pete Walker, which I guess makes sense. But man, I liked the hire from the start, but now as after 2 years of Don Mattingly, I'm just that is the biggest change needed in my opinion, not these minimal roles like Gil Kim, who is just on the phone for replay. Oh, albeit I never saw them actually win a replay with him at the helm, so maybe that changes in the near future here. But Mattingly is a huge issue to me that the Blue Jays have, and they're hanging on to him, and I don't know why. I don't know what more you need to see. They've gotten progressively worse since he's gotten here. So what more do you need? He seems to be calling a lot of the shots out there, and the team hasn't been performing.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with Kim, he was player development director. Grew up with Vladdy or came up with Vladdy and Bo, so hopefully he can find a new role with the Jays. But yeah, you mentioned it. I think they need to make some bigger moves, whether that's getting rid of Mattingly. I think most Jays fans agree that probably needs to happen. But again, the same thing could be asked. Maybe at the end of the day, it's a lot of the players' fault. They've underperformed heavily, and they need to make some additions, and that starts at the top with Ross Atkins, and it seems like he's not going to be returning. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree with Peter? Do you think I'm me as well. I don't want him back either. Do you think Don Mattingly should be let go, or do you think he should stay? Any final thoughts, Peter, before we wrap up here?
Yeah, well, Ross Atkins is also a big part of the problem because the reasons for the Blue Jays underperforming are the rosters that he's put into place here. Ever since they've taken over, him and Shapiro, we haven't seen any success for the Blue Jays. And you could call Alex Anthopoulos whatever you want. Maybe he was too aggressive. Maybe he mortgaged the farm system for those 2015, 2016 runs, but whatever. Like that was the closest we've gotten to Blue Jays success since 92, 93. So I understand it. There's a moment in time where you have to go all in. And I feel like the Blue Jays have had those opportunities open up for them. Like having not signed Vladdy and Bo a couple of years ago and knowing that they would hit free agency, knowing that they wanted that opportunity for themselves, why are you not trying to buy into this core? You're trying to sell it to the fan base. So why not try to buy assets on the trade deadline? Why are you just like filling holes on the roster with stopgaps and not going all in? Either either try to win or don't. Like, don't be in this middle ground where the Blue Jays have been for years. And that's all due to Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, them just being complacent with being an 88 to 90 win team and being okay with a first round exit. Like, they say they're not okay with it, but it seems like they are because we haven't seen any big changes made over the off seasons in the past couple of years, and that falls directly on them. It's not Mattingly, it's not anybody else. It's directly on the front office that is calling the shots.
Yeah, it's ultimately Ross Atkins' fault, Mark Shapiro's fault, and they've also failed to put other players surrounding, like you mentioned, Bo and Vladdy to help propel them too, let alone World Series aspirations, playoff series wins aspirations.
A playoff win, a playoff win.
Yeah,
They
a
haven't
win
even
even.
gotten that in their tenure. It's bad.
At least we don't have to stress this year about them losing in the wild card series, but that'll wrap it up. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on all this, and let us know who do you want to be let go next if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. We'll see you guys tomorrow.